Good evening, welcome. It's Monday night, it's 7:30. We're live every Monday. My name's Phil. Welcome to the Fan Zone Show. So much to talk about as ever. That away defeat at Arsenal, we can talk a little bit about that. And of course, we can start to look forward to the next match, which is coming up on Saturday, which is it a must win? I don't know. I want your views. I want your comments on it. As ever, we're going to get as many of your comments on screen tonight. It's just me. It's just you tonight, not being joined by any guests, because I know there is so much to talk about and I want to get your comments on screen and we want to talk about what you want to talk about. So there's no plan. It's me. It's you. What you want to talk about in the next 29 minutes of the weekly Fan Zone Show.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Fox's Arms. For exclusive extra shows, behind the scenes, competitions and podcasts, subscribe to Leicester Fan TV today on Patreon.
Yes, good evening. Welcome. What is it you want to talk about? What's the big hot topics for Leicester City? There is a lot to talk about. Don't forget, you can follow us right down here at Leicester Fan TV on all social media platforms, totally for free. And if you're on YouTube, give us a subscribe if you want to, and you can see us whenever we're going live and whatever it is we're talking about. As I say, tonight it's all about your views or your comments. It's just going to be me and it's going to be you. So what do you want to talk about? Let's get as many going in the next 30 minutes. Richie says, good evening. Good evening to you, Richie. Hope you're well. Thanks for watching as ever. Appreciate it. He says, get behind Cooper. I think I am doing that. I am, but questions will be asked. So get ready for it, Richie. And Leicester City team, please. Leicester City fans as well. We could have got something or should have got something at Arsenal on Saturday. Let's beat Bournemouth at home this weekend. I agree with some of what you're saying there, Richie. Let me know if you're watching and you do. Hi, Terry. Hope you're well. Bubba, watching out in the States. Good evening to you. Sooner or later, we have to begin to secure points. We have had all the good stretches we want, but we can't keep getting nothing to show for it. It was a tough one, Bubba, at Arsenal. I'm not going to make any excuses. I was pleased, Bubba, to see us in that second half have a bit of a go. I thought there was a lot of fighting spirit there. Red cards, yellow cards. We can talk about that. What do you want to talk about? I want you guys to lead this evening's conversation in there. But I agree, Bubba. Saturday is looking very, very much like, I mean, we've titled this, Is It a Must Win? That's what Reedy's called it. Is it a must win against them on Saturday? There's me pressing all the wrong buttons, or not. I don't know. Let me know. David, good evening, Maz. Hope you're well. David says, good evening. Yes, it must be a win. We need to win at least 3 out of the next 4. The next 4 games that David is talking about there is, of course, Leicester City at home against Bournemouth on Saturday the 5th. Southampton away on the 19th. We've got another international break before then. Then we've got Forest on the Friday night, the 8 o'clock Friday night game. We're all looking forward to that. We are away at Man United in the EFL Cup. That's been confirmed now, 30th of October, 7:45 kickoff. But that's, to be fair, that's a bit of a side issue. And then, of course, we've got Ipswich on the 2nd of November away. Those 4 games are going to be very exciting, aren't they, David? How many points do we need from them? I guess that's the question we could touch on today if you want to. If Southampton win tonight, we're in the race to the bottom, says Dave. Yeah, Southampton playing Bournemouth. Chatting about that earlier with some people. What result do we want in that? A draw keeps them all in it. I mean, 6 games in and we're already looking at the bottom of the table. Auntie Karen, hope you're well. What do you think to what's going on? Are you still backing Steve Cooper and the lads, Karen? I'm pretty sure you will be. Michael says if Southampton win tonight, we're in the relegation zone. I agree. Nobody wants that. We don't want that, but just bear with it. 6 games in. Kyle says 18th, if I'm right. Imran, good evening. Yeah, I'm well. How are you, Imran? Hope you're well. We are slowly improving, says Imran. Next 3 games are crucial. I think next 4. I genuinely think it's 4. I think it is that Bournemouth at home, Southampton away, Forest at home, and then Ipswich away. I think, and I've part of my arguments and debates I've been having with fans about Cooper, there's been a lot of Cooper out last week, this weekend, and I'm just like, hey, I'm just backing the team, the club at the moment, and let's see where it goes. 5-6 games in, it's too early to call it, if you ask me. I know some fans are saying, no, make the change, get on with it. I'm like, well, let's see after these 4 games. I do get it. After 10 games, if things are not looking great, then yeah, maybe the big questions will need to be asked. Dawn is saying we need 9 points from the next 4. That would be 3 wins out of 4. Obviously, thanks, Dawn. My maths is good. Terry says Saturday, we have to have a go from the off. I think, Terry, you will be saying what a lot of fans are saying is that we're going to have to. It ain't going to be easy, Terry, Bournemouth, but is it a must win? You start to get the feeling that we've got to get a win at some point else. I don't know. We need to build some belief up in there. Jane says, I think we're doing all right. Could be better, obviously, but okay. I'm with you on that, Jane. I am with you on that. But, and there is a but, you know, these next 4 games, I think if there aren't some points on the board and a win, it's we're probably, after 10 games, we're already over a quarter of the way into the season and we'll see what we're doing. So I'm with you. It's okay-ish at the moment. It ain't great. Dorco, good evening. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube like Dorco, please hit that subscribe button. We're trying to build up the subscriber numbers. So if you can, hit that. Make sure you follow us and you'll get notifications whenever we go live. Anyway, Dorco says, I want a billionaire owner to keep us in the Premier League. Yeah, I mean, I think Top's pretty wealthy, and I think, but he has, you know, obviously we've been in all sorts of issues. It's surely with FFP, billionaire owners shouldn't have an effect because there's all these rules and regulations, but that's probably a different debate. Andy, good evening to you. Hope you're well. Thanks for watching on Facebook. Ian says, hi, Phil. Thanks, Ian. Hi to you as well. We've got to take the positives from the Arsenal game. We could have been hammered, but we put up a decent fight. Yeah, if you're watching this, come on, let's take some positives from that Arsenal game. Give me some positives from the Arsenal game. I'll give you one. Mads Hermansen looked absolutely fantastic. I mean, don't get me wrong, he had a lot to do, but often, you know, you see the best from a keepers when they're getting peppered, and I thought he had an outstanding game, and, you know, it could have been many, many more goals if Hermansen hadn't had that game. And yet, so frustrating right at the end. He sort of spills one to let them have their 4th goal. He had a great game and then spills one. It's sod's law. I'm not going to blame him for him. Just like I didn't blame Cody for the penalty shout. He knows he get that wrong. Again, look at Arsenal's first goal on Saturday. Do watch it back. And again, I'm not having a pop at Harry Winks, but he doesn't track back with their player. He jogs back and lets their player get by. We've got to cut some of that out, haven't we? We need everybody at 99.9% all of the time in there. But there are Patrick's, there are positives from the Arsenal game. Give me some. Patrick, good evening. Bournemouth or Southampton to win tonight? Draw be good for us. Patrick, I totally agree. I think the draw is the result we want in there. Richard says, I'll say get Cooper out. Nothing will change. I go to the games. Poor tactics. Forget the score. We were battered. Totally entitled to be Cooper out. If you want to be Richard, that's absolutely fine. I'm not there yet. I hope I don't get there yet. In the end, most managers, you get sort of fed up with them, don't you? But I'm certainly not there yet. 6 games. Got to give him a chance. Again, I'm trying to see lots of positives from this season so far. I get it. The results aren't particularly there yet, but I do see some positives and I do see some negatives in there as well. But Richard saying it isn't going to change. I'm not quite sure. I'm hoping it will change. Nick says, great second half on Saturday. Agree with you. But we need to stop showing the opposition too much respect from the off. Otherwise, we find ourselves chasing the game. Nick, it is tricky. Arsenal are a magnificent team at the moment. They're one of the best teams, certainly in the Premier League, if not around Europe. He's got them really, really playing some nice football. They took Man City the week before till the last minute for Man City to get back, and that was at the Etihad. So, you know, they had pretty much the same side out against us. So I think in the end, none of us are that much surprised. And we did do well. Realistically, says Scott, if we get 7 points from the next 4 games, it's not all that bad. Scott, I would be with you on there. 4 games, 2 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat. I think you've got to remember, because you've also got to remember, Scott, haven't you, that like when we're going to Southampton, they're going to be looking at this going, Jesus, like when we play Leicester at home, Southampton are going to be saying, if we want to stay up, this is our cup final. Ditto when we go to Ipswich. Just because those two, again, we're all going to be looking at these games going, we've got to get those points. It's going to be really, really tough. You almost think, is it the games against the Bournemouths at home where really you go, they're perhaps going to come a bit thinking they might win, and it's not their cup final. Southampton, Ipswich away, wow. They're not going to be easy at all. Imran says, from the next 4 games, we need 7 points. Again, Imran's going on the same. Lee saying we need 9 from 12. If not, he needs to go. Laying down the gauntlet there. Richie says Bournemouth to beat Southampton tonight to help Leicester City. I think a draw. I think, Richie, keep them all. We need as many teams as possible down in that area. Kian says, if we don't win any of the next 4, will you be Cooper out, Phil? I'll be much further down that road, Kian. I'll have to be honest. If we don't, you've got to have at least 1 win out of those 4. Because listen, and this is why people say, oh, you need 3 wins out of those 4. Again, I look at it and go, well, what if you got 1 win and 3 draws? You'd be on 6 points. Where would you be after that? I don't know. If we haven't won, the best we can get, Kian, out of those 4 games is 4 points, 4 draws. And I think if you start to look at the table there, you start to go, this really, really is. Even I'm going, this isn't happening. So I think it is going to be really tough if we don't win any of the next 4, Kian. Is Cooper making the right starting 11, says Scott? If we took 100 fans, 20 managers, whatever, we'd probably all slightly pick a slightly different starting 11, Scott. Is he picking the right one? I don't think he is all the time. I think he's still blending what is the right team. And what I would say to you, Scott, as well, is we ain't playing Rotherham away anymore or QPR. We are playing, that was Arsenal. And again, you might say I'm giving them too much respect, but I think you've got to look at that squad they've got, that team they've got, and go, look, he's trying he's trying to not let them win the game. That's almost what you've got to do against some of these teams. When we were last season playing QPR and Rotherham, and no disrespect to them, Bristol City and Plymouth, our team we were the Man City last season of that division. We were there where we could just show up with our multi-million-pound squad getting paid multi-million-pound wages. It's different, isn't it? Bob, really, really want to talk about James Justin, Bob. So thank you for bringing it up. Don't forget, tonight's show, there's no script. It's whatever you guys want to talk about. And if you could do me a favour, I know there's a lot of you watching at the moment. If you can all drop me a like or a share and subscribe, we would love that. I don't want to beg, but thank you for all those that do it. And thank you very much. If you're going to do it right now, just go and hit it right now, the subscribe button. Bob says, funny how we was getting at JJ, then he scores the 2 goals. Bob, not everybody was getting at JJ. A lot of fans are trying to understand what Cooper and the team are trying to do. We are trying to be, the number one thing is, for me, what I see is a team trying to scrap, trying to defend, trying to do stuff, but it ain't always working because, and I'm being dead honest with you, Bob, we aren't as good as some of these teams, and I accept that. But what I do not accept is when we don't try enough. But I did see certainly in that second half, that we were trying. So I think it is difficult. James Justin, I'm so pleased for him because he's coming for quite a lot of stick, and he is a decent player, and everybody's going, oh, Ricardo Pereira should be playing, drop Justin. And I'm sort of like, well, I just watched Ricardo Pereira play at Walsall against the League 2 side. Forgive me, but I didn't see anything that magnificent. Now, listen, I still like Ricardo Pereira, but I also like James Justin. So, yes, really pleased that he got the 2 goals, and almost 2 fingers up to those fans who've been slating James Justin, because there will be fans who were there cheering James Justin, going, what a goal, JJ, woo, come over here, love you, who the day before were slating James Justin, and you know if you were doing it. So that's what I say about some of this. Give them a chance. Take your breath, fans. The season isn't over till the season's over. It probably isn't going to be over till the last kick of the last game. So just bear with the lads. social media, and listen, we're part of the problem because social media can be a nightmare. Everybody having their little opinions. I'm just saying, let's try to back the players. Do you think, here we go, Andy, do you think Ricky P should start at Bournemouth? I don't know, Andy. That's a great question. Do you think it? James Justin scored 2 goals, had a pretty decent performance. Again, I did see some fans blaming James Justin for, I think it was their second goal. Oh, the goal came down the right. Or was it their first goal? Sorry. And it was their second goal. Sorry. And I was like, it did come from down James Justin's side, but it was Winksy not tracking back that scored the goal, not the fact that James Justin couldn't block it. Ian, good evening. Hope you're well. Dorco saying no point having a billionaire owner if we can't spend the money in there. Keep your views, keep your comments coming in. There's a lot going in there. Martin says, we've been close twice. There's improvements. Get a win, calm nerves, move up. Thanks, Martin. Yeah, I get the gist of what you're saying in there. Ross, good evening. Hope you're well. Arsenal won the league on Saturday. They celebrated like they beat Man City, not Leicester. Well, to be fair, at 2-0 up, they were cruising, Ross. At 2-2, they were shaking. Nobody's mentioned it yet, but should that have been a second yellow card? Should there have been a red card? Should they have been down to 10 men, Ross? Listen, they had 28,000 other chances to score a goal, but so I'm picking on one. There's 2 pivotal moments. I'm waiting for you guys to bring them up. Should it have been a red card? Jamie Vardy, why was that not VAR checked? Or if it was, I've been told that it wasn't part of the same movement for their first goal. Strange. I don't know. Are they having a bit of a go at us? Let us know if you're in there. Keith says, we should set out more attacking from the start. We're not a good defensive team. Keith, listen, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying you want to take our squad and take it to Arsenal against their squad, which is without a shadow of a doubt, Keith, better. And you want to go toe-to-toe on attacking. I guess you could argue, well, we lost anyway, 4-2, so why not go out all guns blazing? I just think he's gone there to try to keep us in the game. And you would argue, well, 2-0 down, you're out the game. But we weren't, because we got to 2-2. We actually only let the 3rd and 4th goals in injury time again. I think the question would be more, not maybe attacking from the start. It should be just that, not naivety, but we battled hard. It's hard to criticise them from my point of view on Saturday. I will call it. I will criticise players if I don't think they put it in. But I think I did see blood, sweat and tears. Did you on Saturday or not? Was that, I said, that's the Leicester I want to support. How they performed in that second half. That's what I want to see. Mads was fantastic, says Terry. Yes, I think he was in there. And Terry goes on to say, Winks doesn't have as much time on the ball now, which is showing. I agree. I've told you, it's Arsenal away. It's not Rotherham away. Isn't it, Terry? It is flipping harder. That's how football works. I sometimes wonder if people have played football before. I played a very, very, very poor level of Sunday League football. But when you're playing a better side, it's harder. It's just, you don't have to get as much time. There's so many different things. Keep getting your views in. Keep getting your comments in. Let us know what you think and what your views are on Leicester at the moment. Because I've seen, like I say, I've seen some pretty horrific fan chat in lots of social media, and it's done my nut in a little bit, as you might have seen or might have known, because I'm all for people having opinions, but I'm also for people being able to listen to other people. So I hope I listen to you, and I hope you listen to me, and I hope we have a nice conversation about it. Tess says, stop building Mads up. Chelsea are watching. Yeah, he probably would. I was not surprised when they were linked with him in there. So that wouldn't be surprising, would it? Next summer. Keith says we should set out more attacking from the start. We're not a good defensive team in there. I think we've had that one. Tom, good evening, Tom, says, and this is Tom's wish list. Next 4 games, 8 points, 2 home wins and 2 away draws. Have to beat Bournemouth before the international break. Do you agree with Tom? He's probably not far wrong there. I would say 2 home wins, 1 away draw, and then, I don't know, flick a coin with the other one and see what happens. I would probably say 7 points out of a potential 12 is certainly not the end of the world. We need that win for confidence. Bournemouth, massive, Tom. Going to be massive down there. Keep getting your views in and your comments in. Mick says Ricardo needs to play right back and JJ left back. So Mick's saying drop Victor Christensen. I've got a sore throat. Bear with. A bit of Pikachu coffee there. Don't think Cooper is getting a fair chance from some of the fan base. Do you reckon, Joe? Do you reckon I saw Cooper out before the season started? Blimey, Riley. Oh, dearie. Honestly, I don't know. Is it because some fans have just joined Leicester City, and that's not their fault if they're younger, but have some fans become a fan, and around the time of the Great Escape season. So they've seen us in the Premier League. The Great Escape was a great season in the end. We loved it. And then what happens after that? We win the Premier League. And then what happens after that? We go in the Champions League. And then what happens after that? We have a couple of years in the Europa League and Conference League. And then what happens after that? We win the FA Cup and we win a Community Shield. And then bloody hell, win the Championship. And now we're not that brilliant. And it's like some fans are like, this isn't Leicester City. And maybe it's just because I'm a grumbling old git, Joe. Maybe it is that. Or maybe it's just I've watched 40 years of football and I go, I've seen some great bits. I've seen some bad bits. I've seen some flipping brilliant bits that I never thought I'd see. None of us thought we'd see that. I've also seen some stuff that I never, ever, ever want to see again. David Pleat. Peter Taylor. Let's hope Steve Cooper doesn't join that brigade. I hope he won't. But I it's like, this is football. This is Leicester. If you don't want the ups and the downs, go support Man City. It's as simple as that. I don't know. Maybe it is an age thing. Maybe I don't feel like I'm a grumbly old git. I feel like I've got a little bit of time to give the players a bit of time. If I see them trying, the one thing fans will never accept is a lack of effort. And I do see effort out there. But I also see that we're not the best team on the pitch most weeks at the moment. That's how I'm calling it. I really do see that. Ross says season starts Saturday. It best do, Ross. Let's hope so. Ryan says JJ supported, but also a lot of goals conceded come from that side. Yes, potentially. And we need to sort it. We need to get it in there, don't we? We need to sort it. JJ is a good player, but they're playing a bit out of position in there. Get behind Winks, says Richie. I think most fans are, Richie. I think most fans are getting behind him. Stephen says, can't fault the effort against Arsenal. Bubba says, are they having a go at us? You tell me, whenever we get a favourable ruling from VAR, I won't hold my breath. It does feel a bit like that, Bubba, doesn't it? In there. We need to show less respect to the mid-lower sides in the division. I think we could score more than some, says Ryan. In there. Do you agree with Ryan? Listen, keep getting your views in, keep getting your comments in wherever you're watching from. Do let us know, by the way, where you're watching from. We love it that we have fans from around the world. If you ever want to just pop it in the chat and say, hi, I'm watching from Scunthorpe. I'm watching from Shelthorpe. I'm watching from Sydney. Wherever you're watching, let us know. It's always nice to know who we're talking to. And keep getting your views in on the Bournemouth game, the Arsenal game, Steve Cooper, whatever it is you want to talk about. Hermanson, what a good game he had. What a good game. Best keeper performance you've seen since ... When? I mean, back to a Casper performance, I would say. Will he pay Fatawa up front, says Andy? Well, I wouldn't say up front if you mean like a number 9, but on the wing, yeah, he will. Fatawa will get some chances in there. Maybe, Andy. See, being a manager, Andy, it's difficult, isn't it? Oh, I'm no good. I'm not a manager. I've never even wanted to manage the pub side, particularly. I've done it a little bit, but it's tricky. But you do sort of look at it against Bournemouth and you go, now, if I was Steve Cooper, would I just look at it and go, do you know what? The fans are on my back a little bit. I do need a win. I'm gonna play this card this week, which is Mavadidi, Fatawa, and Jamie Vardy. I am going to go for it a little bit more. Is this the week, Andy, that you think, right, he needs to relax a little bit and let out a Fatawa Mavadidi? I mean, don't get me wrong. He'll get slaughtered if we lose. He'll go, because everybody will be on his case. Oh, it's far too attacking. Can't win sometimes, can you, bless? Jonathan says, if you forget what we've done in the last 10 years, you'd say we were doing okay. Agreed. Due to our recent past, we expect more in comparison. We have to focus on the now. If we finish 17th, we'll take it. Jonathan, I think you're right. And listen, before we got relegated, I was one of those fans going, I do expect more. I've seen us get 5th, 5th, 8th. I'm expecting that. We built a squad. The year we got relegated, we had the 7th most expensive squad, which, if you follow the stats, means you should finish around 7th. Maybe a bit higher, maybe a bit lower. I was all for that. But I've had to have a reset. I think we've all, personally, I think when the club got relegated and let go of the best players, like Yuri Tielemans, love him or hate him, one of the best players. James Maddison, again, love him or hate him, by far better than anything we've got now, James Maddison is. I'm just being honest. You might disagree. You might think we've got better players than James Maddison. And I'm not his biggest fan anymore, Maddison, but he is better than anything we've got in my books. And Harvey Barnes as well. So we haven't got as good a squad as when we got relegated. So I've had to reset my expectations. Jonathan, if you give me 17th now, yes, please. I'll take it in there. Dorco says, get Alves in the team. I like that, Dorco. You're talking about yourself in the third person there. Dorco says, get Alves in the team before Chelsea buy him. I don't think Chelsea are going to go buy Alves, mate. Listen, there's been all this talk about Alves. He obviously had the big injury. Not really seen anything much of him in anything that really matters to say he's going to be the next wonder kid. And I haven't got the stats on the top of my head, Dorco, but I know he had the big injury. He's got to be in his 21s, 22s. And before anybody says it, I know Dewsbury Hall took a while to come through, but I don't know. Tough season for anybody to try and break through. Daddy to One says Fatwa hasn't been found out. He just needs to start every game to get that confidence back. I'd like to see Ricky and JJ against Bournemouth. That'd be 3 big changes, Daddy to One. Maybe he'll do it. Keep your views coming in. I'm going to scroll down. We've had so many comments. Thank you for so many comments in there. Don't forget, if you're watching this on Facebook, please drop us a like. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. Just click the subscribe button while you're watching this. That'll be great. And if you are on Twitter, welcome to the conversation. Try and keep it clean, you lot on Twitter. Gav says, Cooper has outdone Akimbadbai with Dobat Reed, Ayup and El Kazouz, Kuskus, to have a point and bring these 3 on explains why he has to go, Gav. I've talked about quality of the squad. I don't think it is there. I honestly not seeing that deep squad quality in there. Alves is only 19. Thanks, Ryan. I'm prepared to give him time, but there's a lot of players by 19 already also in first team squads by far. So, you know, it's going to be tricky to get him in there. Ross says, on this day, Peter Taylor got sacked at Leicester. Now, if you think it's bad now, they clearly didn't see Leicester under Peter Taylor. Yeah, it wasn't great. It really wasn't great back then. And Ross, if you didn't see David Pleat, which I know you're way too young for, that's I don't think I've got a rung lower in my Leicester City supporting history than David Pleat. If you're old enough, and maybe you go back further than me, I don't know. Is there a manager who's lower down than the David Pleat era? Because for some of you grumbling about now, I remember going to Filbert Street, and I swear I'm right in saying that at Filbert Street we sometimes had crowds for home matches of 7, 8 or 9,000 fans. I remember standing. Well, it wasn't standing. I think I was stewarding. Back in the day, I used to steward. I think some of you know that. In the old members stand before it was a Carling stand. And I remember the slow hand clap. A sarcastic slow hand clap. Pleat. Out. Pleat. Out. Now that sounds boring for 3 seconds. Pleat. Out. You try that for 80 or 90 minutes in a game, week on, week out. That was it. 7,000 or 8,000 fans there doing it. It's been low. This is not down there. This is way better. So let me know if there is anybody out there who remembers David Pleat and what you think in there. Gary Megson gets a shout. Yeah, again, that wasn't great times, was it? In there. Peter Taylor. I was the best. I always makes me laugh, Peter. I assume you're not the Peter Taylor who say this all the time. Be funny if you were. Just popping on Leicester Fan TV for a slating every now and then in there. Ian Holloway was no big hit, says Alan. What's wrong with my Uncle Ian? Come on, Alan, mate. No, he wasn't. But he was only there one season. And I actually think with Ian Holloway, I actually quite like the guy. And I actually think I genuinely think he was trying. He was maverick and didn't get it right. But he, he did try. I did quite like him, but David Pleat was woeful, honestly. Yes, Patrick says, I think, Patrick, you're just, I don't want to say it, Patrick. Maybe you've got better memory than me. Maybe, Patrick, you are just a tad older than me. But Frank McClintock, I know that there is a generation who go, that was really bad. I started watching under Jimmy Bloomfield, which was really quite exciting. The Bloomfield boys was like, wow, this was perhaps as exciting as Leicester City ever got with Dennis Roth, Steve Whitworth, and the legend that was Keith Weller. So that's when I joined, where it was all pretty exciting, and then Gary Lineker came on the scenes. The Pleat era was just absolutely shocking. We would celebrate a loss after if less than 2 goals. Thanks, Nick. Yep, you were there. I don't want to turn this into a David Pleat hate-a-thon because obviously we've got loads to talk about. But I just want to keep it. There is definitely some fans out there who are like, Cooper out. Oh my good grief. Oh my God. We've lost 5 games. Well, we haven't even lost 5 games. And you go, we're 15th in the Premier League. It's just not good enough. Cooper out. Cooper out. It started to rain yesterday. Cooper out. The dog's done a shit on the carpet. Cooper out. Take your breath. Let's have the next 4 games, and then, hey, I might be knocking on the door going, get him out, but not yet. Let's enjoy it. Craig Levine, Nick. Yeah. Yeah, there was. I mean, again, those are my 2 lads are old enough to remember the getting relegated to League One 5 or 6 seasons after the Premier League drop in the early 2000s. We had Championship. Bad. I blocked a lot of it out. Craig Levine. Oh, I forgot that's a name from the past. Pleat the Plonker, says Andy in there. Craig Levine, again, another one for Ian in there. Scott says, to be honest, if we can't beat a League 2 side in 90 minutes, that isn't right. Maybe. Didn't we 2 years ago lose away at Newport, Scott, in the FA Cup? These things can happen. You know, what year did we lose to Newport? Was it the year after we won the FA Cup? I don't know. And just to put a little bit of silver lining on that, we actually won the penalty shouter. I did see somebody put on Twitter. I genuinely saw a Leicester fan put on Twitter, and I kid you not, because I screen grabbed it. I've not put it anywhere, but I screen grabbed it. A Leicester fan put, his words were, I hope we lose this penalty shootout so they'll sack Cooper quicker. No fan, no supporter ever says that. I hope we lose a penalty shootout so they sack Cooper quicker. Honestly, the state of it, the state of them. Nigel Worthington, yeah, another one, Tom. Thanks, yeah. Still not quite David Pleat, but it's interesting in there. Paulo Sousa lost 6-1 to Pompey 3 days before we beat them 2-1 in the cup. Ross, I remember Paulo Sousa, who came with a lot of pomp and glory from Swansea, going to be all this. I think, Ross, we had Sven lined up to replace him. I think there was other circumstances in there. So I think that was in there. Nick Moore says, who would people rather have on the right wing, Ayew or Moma Silla? Come on, guys. It has been worse than this. Yeah, I don't listen, Nick, you and me. I don't want to be there going, it's been worse than this, so I'll take it. But I genuinely am saying I'm looking at positives. I am looking at positives. And I still say, even though we lost 4-2 against Arsenal, and even though we went 2-0 down, and even though Arsenal battered us for a lot, I still felt we were competitive. There was that fearless. I saw fearless foxes come back to 2-2. Yes, we messed it up after that. Well, we didn't. They just scored in injury time. These things happen. I saw fearless foxes on Saturday again. It's been a while, and I didn't see much. Even last year on Enzo, it was. I'm not critiquing any of that, but I don't think we were fearless foxes last year. I actually saw foxes never quit on Saturday. Foxes don't give up. We were 2-0 down. I like that. That for me has always been the 2 big phrases for Leicester. Foxes never quit was the one back in the 90s because we didn't quit. And then Fearless Foxes was obviously when we won the Premier League. I'm seeing a bit of that. And also the Great Escape season. I'm seeing a bit of it. We've just got to not give it too much time, but we've got to give it a chance to happen. Would have been great to have pinched a point there. Would have been great to have got 3 against Crystal Palace. Would have been great to steal it off Villa at the end there. Perhaps could have done better against Everton. I think there's enough positives this season that it's not over yet. So therefore, the thing I'm going to leave you with is I am backing Cooper at the moment because I'm backing this, and I'm backing Leicester, and I'm backing the lads on the pitch, and that includes the manager because it ain't over yet. So for all those other people saying Cooper out, keep your gob shut. If you're going to go down the football, give them a cheer. And if you feel like you're going to boo, don't bother because that don't help nobody. So give them a cheer, shout them on, and let's see where we happen. 10, 15 games. If it's gone to pot, fair enough. We'll have to look at that. But we are not there yet. So back the lads, back this club. If you're expecting better than what we've got at the moment, and you expect us to win, and you're expecting Europe this season, you're at the wrong club, and you don't understand what club you're at. We aren't that club at the moment. We were. We're not now. We hopefully will get back there, but it just doesn't happen overnight. Look at the summer transfers. We haven't gone out and signed world beaters. We've gone out and they've tried to amalgamate some has-beens, some rejects again, some young lads. It might take a little while. Stick with them. Stick with them. Anyway, that's it. That's it for me. Thanks, Richie. Not everybody agrees with me, but I'm just like, back the lads for a bit. Come on, lads. Come on, Leicester. We are all Leicester. That's the thing. Anyway, I've said my bit, and I couldn't have done it without all your comments. So, as ever, I've really, really enjoyed it just being me and you tonight. We'll do more of these. It's great to have Simon, Tom on, all the lads, and have their views. I just wanted it to be me and you so we could all get on the same hymn sheet because Bournemouth is going to be massive. We do need 3 points. If we don't get it, it ain't the end of the world, but we want it. Because for me, it would start to calm the nerves a little bit, prove that we can win, prove that we can move on and kick on. It is game by game. We need a win. We need a win. They need a win. We all need a win. Come on, we can do it. Anyway, I'm going to stop blathering. Thanks for all your views, for all your comments. Dawn says, we'll always back the lads. Thank you for that, Dawn. Ian says, the away end was rocking when we got the equaliser. I've seen a lot worse football than this. Keep the faith. Ian, perfect. But some of those fans will be the same ones going, Cooper out. Back the lads. That's what they need. Thanks, Mark. Wise words. Not very often, but let's just back them until it stops. And let's see where we go. We've been there. We've seen it all before. We are the mighty, mighty Leicester. The highs, the lows, the roller coaster. I'll see you at Bournemouth on Saturday. Come on, Leicester. Let's do it. Still back in.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Fox's Arms. For exclusive extra shows, behind the scenes, competitions and podcasts, subscribe to Leicester Fan TV today on Patreon.